Giuliana Fischer. She's a good friend of mine. She is a clairvoyant psychic medium, and we are going to be discussing some relationship um, things that have to do with energies and auras and some of the things that you may be doing that can put your energy and aura at risk. Because we want to discuss, it's not just about paranormal. Here we do want to discuss how these things can apply to your everyday life. It's not necessarily you're going to see a ghost every day, or you want to talk to someone who's passed on every day. So another thing that is relevant to my life is dating, right? Dating is very relevant to my life. I know it's relevant to a lot of people's lives. And I think a lot of people don't know the risks that are involved when you're getting involved with someone that you don't know, right? So when you go out on a date, you meet somebody on a dating app and you're getting to know this person's energy, their vibe, their aura. They're bringing a lot of things with them. And I kind of wanted to get into that and dig deeper, because I think a lot of people are like, oh, I'm just getting to know this person. And sharing energy is something that we do on a daily basis. When you go to the grocery store, you're sharing your energy. When you ride on the bus, you're sharing your energy. You're sharing
Yeah,
energy.
right. And you get energy in your system.
So I want to talk about, when people are dating, what are some of the risks that they can be putting themselves at when they're getting involved with someone who they don't know anything about? Because even if you know everything about someone, you don't know everything that is in their energy and the things that they're carrying with them. So what are some things that people should look out for, and what are some of the risks that they could be facing?
I think if you get in a sex connection with someone, you can get all their karma, all their ex relationship energies. You can get so many bad energies. And the most people think, oh, it's just for fun, it's just because I love it, or I don't know. But the risk what you get on you is so worse because you get so bad energies in your whole system, in your aura. And yeah, so you get
So
all the things what the person have in their systems.
so that's what I want to talk about. I want to focus on energy transfer. And
Yeah.
a lot of times people don't realize that when you're intimate with someone, you're transferring energy between each other. And,
Hmm.
and something that you explained to me, which I thought was really insane, was the person that you're intimate with, you're kind of being intimate with all of the people that they were intimate with in the past, because
Yeah, right.
those energies can be transferred to you. And a lot of people will tell you when they describe their past relationships that it was a toxic relationship, or it could have been an abusive relationship. It could have been a relationship where they felt controlled or manipulated. So thinking of those types of people, those are the energies that you may be taking on from this new
Right.
person.
And they all have still energy cores from their ex relationships on them. And if they have sex with you or they have a strong connection with you, you can get all these really worse energies from the ex partnership in your system. And that's really bad for you, I think.
Well, that's what I'm wondering, because when I hear someone say, when someone talks about their ex, there usually is 99% chance it's going to be negative. They're not going to say something positive. So
Yeah,
when I'm
right.
about me taking on the energy of someone's exes, not just one ex, but all of their exes, anyone that they've
Mhm.
ever slept with, it's kind of scary. And I'm wondering, is there anything that I could do to protect myself from inheriting these energies? Because when you're dating, you might go on 5 dates in a month, right? And it's not uncommon to be intimate with some of these people while dating. So what are we supposed to do to protect ourselves, so we're just not taking on massive loads of terrible energy and negative aura that we're going to be carrying along as well?
That's why I produce my own spiritual products to clean all the time your aura. You have the aura spray to protect your aura, but if you going on a Tinder date or you get in a deeper relationship with someone, it's really difficult to not get all these energies in your field. So you have to clean yourself and the person you are with too. So both of the persons have to clean all the negative and all the past relationships, all the energy cords before you go in a deeper relationship. This is just my opinion. That's why I would never sleep with someone or with a stranger, because it's not just you having sex. It's like you get all these energies all curses or demons energies. You can get all that bad energies in your aura field, and you have bad luck in your life, or you have money problems, or you get nightmares, and I don't think that's worth it, right?
I mean, no, that sounds terrible, but I do want to acknowledge that here in America, it's very common for people to be
I
intimate with people
know.
they don't know.
So
You know,
easy.
like a lot of times people will be intimate on the first date. And so when you were telling me that, and so, okay, so for instance, say for instance, you're intimate with someone and you
Yeah.
take negative energy. Is there anything that you can do to cleanse yourself after the fact? Like, say for instance, you didn't cleanse yourself before. Is there something that you can do to release that energy, that negative energy from you now? Because you don't want to continue to carry those energies on, to every relationship you're in. And also I wanted to ask follow-up question, how does that energy affect you? Like, does it change your personality? Does it change your
Yeah, of course. Because when you're having sex with someone, all the chakras, all the energy, what you have, the body is getting in once. So you have like, you are like the twin from the other person. You have all that stuff in your system. That means you get this personality the longer you stays with that person. And you can do like, if you're not having my product, or if you're not really spiritual, but you can say, hey, I calling all my energies back in my field, and I want to send all the energies what I got back to the person what I got from. So that's a huge step for making like a little ritual to get your energies back and to give the energies back to the sender.
so you can send the energy back to where it came from? Kind of
Yeah,
like
right.
if you're possessed and you have a spirit or a demon, you can send it back. So
Oh,
you can.
that's not so easy, but if you just are on a date and you got go like on a diner and just drink a coffee and you feel, oh, this person is really bad from the energy,
Mhm.
and you going home, you can say, hey, I call all my energies back and I will give the person all the energies back. But if you have a demon, okay, you need someone like me, a real medium to yeah, to get this demon back from where it comes from. That's not so easy. You cannot say, okay, I call the demon back. Because
So
to
what it
having a demon, you are really obsessed with this demon.
oh So what can people do? Like, say they're swiping on Tinder. Is there
Mhm.
anything that people can do, not having your gift, just a normal person, that can help
Mhm.
them decipher what type of energy someone has? Or like, I know for me, I don't have this gift. So is there a way for me to know the energy of someone beforehand, or is there a way to look for signs that will give you an idea of what type of energy that they might have?
Yeah, of course. When you met a person and you feel weak, or you have the feeling, oh my God, I'm so tired, I have going to sleep right now, then you can feel that someone wants to, yeah, that someone wants to take your energy like a vampire the whole time. Then you can feel, okay, this person is not so good and I have to go. And when you feel good, when you have the feeling, oh my God, this person is so interesting for me and I feel so good when I met this person, then you can feel, okay, that's a really good energy. So I think, yeah, if you have not my gifts, but you're sensitive, you can feel if this person is good, or this human has a bad energy.
So it's a draining and tiring feeling. So just being around that person can make you feel weak, drained, and tired. So that's something that
Yeah, absolutely.
because it's hard to know because you can look at a photo and tell me exactly the energy that someone has. So it's interesting that
Right
there's
now.
well, right, you're really good at it. I'll send you a picture and you're like instantly reply like you can give me a whole list of things. And it's scary because I don't have that gift. So when I'm just out about in the world and I'm interacting with strangers, I don't know what you know. So at least I
Yeah.
know if I'm hanging around someone or I'm spending time with someone and I'm always tired, or after we go out on a date, I pass out from sleep or exhaustion or weakness, that's a negative thing. That's not
Yeah,
something.
right.
And in turn, that means that while you were out with that person, they drained you of your.
Mhm.
That is actually what happened. They took
Energy
all.
vampires. I call it energy vampires.
What do they do with all the energy? That's what I was wondering. Like when they're sucking out all of your energy, what do they do with it? Is it because they have a lack of energy, so they're taking yours?
Yeah, because they have not enough energy to live with their own energy. That's why they need others to have enough energy to live. that's the reason why.
That's so crazy. Do they know that they're doing it, or do you think it's like a subconscious thing? Is it just something that their soul does on its own?
Well, some people are really traumatized from their childhood and their energy level is so low that they just want every time a strong person with a strong character to to feel better, to feel too strong with that person. But I have the feeling um, it not must be always a demon or energy vampire. I think when someone feels too weak in themselves, they are searching for people who are really strong, who are really independent with themselves. And I think, yeah, so it's possible that some people just want your energy because they feel not, they have not enough self-love or they not feel good when they are alone.
Oh, so it kind of has to do with self-esteem and value.
Yeah, right.
So if the person doesn't have a high self-esteem or a high self-worth,
Hmm.
they suck the energy of a person who does. And
Yeah,
that
right. To feel better, to grow in their own systems. And when they don't have these persons anymore, they get weak again and they feel worse.
wow. Okay, so I have a question. Would it be feasible for you to start like a dating service where you can kind of screen people and let people energy and the aura and whether or not they are compatible? Because I feel like that would be an invaluable service. Because say for instance somebody has been dating for years and they've never met the right person, they feel like they're wasting their time, they're running into a wall. What
Mm.
if you were able to screen people and you would only send people to them that first of all have good energy, match their aura, they're compatible, and they're clean, have a clean energy? Like, would that be a feasible thing for people to use? Do you think that people would be interested in only dating people that are spiritually compatible with them?
I think so. I think, and in America, it's so easy to meet spiritual people, not like in Germany. And I think that would be really cool when there's a dating app for really sensitive or spiritual people that they can meet with each other. Because I think it's really difficult when you're really spiritual to meet someone normal who's not in that spiritual game. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. So for me, I don't know how to read energy. So when I meet someone, I base it whether or not I like their personality. And
Hmm.
I don't sense energies well. I've been known to befriend terrible people or date terrible people. So I'm not good at reading that. So I'm thinking, how matchmakers they'll get somebody who is financially compatible or who has the same education level as you or who has the same goals as you, but I
Yeah.
think that they're missing the spiritual level. And I think that's why so many relationships don't work, because you can't just be compatible on finances or goals or education. There needs to be a spiritual connection in order for you to build a relationship. And I think a lot of people, they're looking at looks, income, and
Career.
education. Right. And they're
Yeah.
missing the most important component. And I think when you
Mhm.
can't connect on a spiritual level, you can't connect. And I think that's why a lot of people find dating to be a empty process, because they feel drained at the end, because they give so much energy to finding the right person and so much energy to connecting with the person, and then at the end it doesn't work out and they just feel
Mhm.
drained and hopeless, and it seems like a pointless process. And I think it's because they're not focusing on the spiritual level of dating, because I think a lot of people don't realize that when you're connecting with someone on a spiritual level, that means you're connecting emotionally, intimately, physically. There's so many different levels of connection, and I think a
Yeah.
lot of people focus on the physical connection and the visual, and they don't focus on anything else, and that's why it always falls apart.
Yeah, for example, one of my best friends, she's really spiritual and she really knows a lot and she grows so much in her own spiritual personality. And she's dating over 2 years, and for her, it's so difficult to go on a second date with someone because she has the feeling that the man who she's dating with is they are all not on a spiritual level. And she said, okay, what should I talk about with them? So I don't have no idea what should I talk with them. And so I think it's really difficult to find someone with a good personality, with a good energy, and with a spiritual, healthy energy level.
Well, see, that's why I think you should start, or we should start an app.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that will works.
I don't want anyone to steal our idea, but I think that it's really important that people are matched on all levels. Like I know there's some apps that say, "Oh, we match you on lots of different compatibility
Mhm.
levels." I think someone with your gift is the only person that can actually tell you if someone is going to be spiritually compatible with you. And you can be in a relationship with someone for years and never connect with them on a spiritual level. And I think
Yeah.
that's the thing because this person is a stranger to you spiritually. You might know each other physically, you might know each other emotionally, but spiritually, you're strangers. You don't know each other. It's like two people passing on the street. And I think that's really scary because you would never let a stranger in your house, but not being spiritually connected to someone is kind of like sleeping in the same bed with a stranger.
Yeah, right. And I have the feeling that most people are not really connected with themselves or with them heart. And so they want a connection with someone, but they're not connected with themselves though. So how you want to connect with someone when you have not even the connection with yourself? Like
Okay, so
that's not working.
I want to unpack that. So when someone is not spiritually connected with themselves, what does that
Yeah.
mean? How do you not be spiritually connected with yourself?
That means you cannot have a strong energy core to someone. You cannot have a real connection to someone because if you have not the connection to yourself, you're just living in your head all the time. You're just living in your mindset the whole time, but you're not living with your heart and your whole body and your whole system, you know?
Well, what can people do to connect with themselves? I never thought about that. I didn't realize that I needed to connect with myself. So,
Mm.
what can I do to make sure that my spiritual connection with myself is strong?
Going on a spiritual journey with yourself or find God back, or yeah, going on a spiritual journey with yourself, going on meditations, going to yoga, or yeah, just ask yourself what I want to do, what I like. Just having time with yourself is a big step to get the connection with yourself. Not working the whole time, not going on TikTok the whole time. The most people are just on their phones or they just at work, but they're not really talking with themselves. It's so sad, but I see a lot of people, they are not really connected with themselves. They're like just like a doll with no life inside it.
So, the more time you spend alone with your own thoughts. So,
Right, exactly.
and you know what's interesting? There's a lot of people who hate to be alone. Like I know a lot of friends that I have. Some of them they just hate to be alone. They need to be out. They need to go out every night. They need to have be somewhere where there's a lot of noise. And I think those people are probably the most spiritually disconnected because
Right.
they
They are the most afraidest people to they think if I'm alone with myself, that's afraid that like they get in panic to being or staying with themselves by their owns. Yeah.
so people need to learn that it's okay to spend some time in your own head and get to know
Right.
your get to know the inner voice because I learned that too. I have like an inner voice. I have like an inner dialogue. And I used to think that that meant I was crazy, but it's not necessarily that. It just means that your mind is in control of your mouth, it's in control of your body, it's in control of your speech. And
Hmm.
that inner dialogue is important. When you're sitting at home in the bed, laying down, looking at the ceiling, you can hear that dialogue really well. And I think a lot of people are scared by it because a lot of people are like, "Well, who is that? Who
Yeah,
is
right.
talking in my head? It's you." But you have to make sure that you and that dialogue are connected and you're on the same page, you want the same things and you're listening. A lot
Hmm.
of people don't listen to their mental dialogue. And I think a lot of times just because they're afraid of the idea that, oh, that's just a voice in my head, that's a negative thing. And if the voice isn't saying anything negative, it's not a negative thing. Sometimes a voice can just be crying out for help. It's
Right.
telling things that it wants you to do, habits it wants you to break, or goals it wants you to work towards. But if you don't listen to it, you're never going to accomplish that. And if your mind is trying to tell you something, you have to listen to what your mind is trying to tell you. Just like your body tells you when you're sick, your mind can also tell you, when you're sick or depressed or upset or you're in a bind or in a dilemma. Your mind will try to communicate with you the same way
Mhm.
stomach will tell you that you're not feeling well, but a lot of people are not listening to that.
Do you know the most people when they get heart attacks or they had heart issues? That's because they're not connected with their heart. They just don't want to feel what the heart wants to say, and that's so sad, because the most heart attacks also by women is when they said, okay, I have this emotion but I don't want to talk about it and I don't want to feel it, and then people get heart attacks. The heart chakra is so overloaded and so full of emotion, and it will be exploded if you're not listen to your heart.
Well, how does the heart communicate with you? Now I'm curious. Like, is it a feeling? Is it an inner dialogue? Because I know that heart attacks are very physical. They say
Mhm,
that you feel things in your shoulders, you can feel things in
mhm.
your neck, feel things in your back. So what is the heart's way of communicating with you?
I think a good option to get in a connection with your heart is when you're getting on a healing session, like with me, because I'm doing heart opener healing sessions or heart healing sessions, and people learn to listen to their hearts or to feel their heart. The most people don't feel their hearts. They're just running or they go to gym and they have a little bit heart beating, but they're not really feel what's going on in their heart. Yeah, and that's the first step. Heart meditations, or you can put your right hand on the heart and go inside and say, "Hey, what do you want to say? What do you feel?" Like you can do that every time when you go to bed. That's a beginning for, yeah, the journey back to you and to your heart.
That is so interesting. And I think a lot of people don't realize how many steps it takes to prepare yourself
Hmm.
be in a relationship, because a lot of people just think, "Oh, I'm single and I'm lonely, and if I was in a relationship,
Yeah, right.
I'd
I
be."
know people, and maybe they lovely and maybe they cool, but they have no connection to themselves, but they want just someone who loves them, who hugs them. But I can feel these people are not have a connection to themselves. So if people are not connected with themselves, they never could have a connection with you. Maybe they can be cute to you, maybe they can lovely to you, or they can be respectful to you, but they could never really love you. Because they have no connection, and you cannot go to their heart when the heart is closed.
So a lot of people are looking to fall in love when their heart is closed off, and it's they're actually blocking their opportunity to find someone because they
Hmm.
don't that they're closed off from finding someone. That's kind of interesting.
Yep.
Without understanding myself, it led me to hanging on to stress. Yeah, I think a lot of people we focus on stress, we focus on work, we focus on everything that will cause your body to be in distress. We never focus on, like you were talking about, meditation and yoga. We never focus on things that will de-stress our bodies. We usually are focused on worrying and problems and issues and
Yeah,
finance, and
right.
we're putting a strain. A lot of people don't realize the strain that stress puts on your body, because a stress can actually cause a stroke. It can cause a heart attack. It's something that happens in your mind. You're creating scenarios and situations in your mind, and it's
Hmm.
actually affecting the organs of your body. It's affecting the way that your body functions. And looking for love is such a complex situation, because love can there's no real textbook definition of love. We don't really know what it is. We just know it feels a certain way. So when
Hmm.
you're looking for it, it's really interesting that people are not prepared to do that. Like, for instance, say you're going on a road trip. It's going to take you 2 days to drive there. You're going to go through a preparation process for your car. You're going to check the tires, you're going to change your oil, you're going to get gas, you're going to take all of this
Yeah,
preparation
right.
to be ready for that journey. But when we're trying to fall in love, we just kind of show up at the date. We don't do any back work or pre-work, and that's what's
Hmm.
interesting. Like, you got to work on yourself and make sure you're physically and mentally and emotionally prepared to be going on this journey, because love is a journey. I always say it's like a road trip. You're going to be driving across country. You're going to go through ups, downs, hills, rain,
Absolutely.
sleet, earthquakes. You're going to experience so many different things, and we're not prepared. We're not mentally prepared, spiritually prepared, emotionally prepared. We just kind of show up. We find a person that we think we like, and we show up to the date and we hope that it goes well. We don't prepare our mind, we don't prepare our heart, we don't prepare our soul. We just show up and hope that things go well. And I think that that's the main issue of why people have been finding love and then losing love quickly, or thinking they find love and then find out it's not love because you were never ready to receive love. You were
Mm-hmm.
looking, you weren't ready to receive.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I think the most people who saying, "Oh my God, I want so madly a relationship. Oh my God, I need a man or I need a woman." These are all the same people who wants that others loves them, but they cannot love themselves. And the feeling what they want to have from another person is the feeling what they miss in themselves.
Oh, okay. So this is interesting. So the want and need to being loved is actually a projection of what you want from yourself. And
Yeah,
I've heard,
of course. Everything what you want from another person is something what you miss in yourself or what you search for.
oh, so when you feel lonely and sad and wanting to be loved, it's because you're not spending enough time loving yourself.
Absolutely. That's correct.
Interesting, because we think that happiness is what we're missing and love is what we're missing, but when it actually it's us, our lack of love or lack of emotion towards ourselves. Because we can be pretty cold towards ourselves, right? You know what they say, we're our worst critic. We're hardest on ourselves. Other people aren't as hard as we are on ourselves, and I think that's where that lack of love comes from. I think that a lot of people are too hard on themselves. They don't give themselves enough credit. They don't give themselves enough grace. They blame themselves for things that go wrong. And at the end of the day, we need to be our biggest supporter. Don't be hard on yourself. Understand that you're not perfect. Understand that you make mistakes, and understand that you can hold yourself accountable without beating yourself up. And I think a lot of people spend too much time beating themselves up.
And I think the healthiest way to getting in a relationship is when you work on yourself, when you know yourself first. Because if you're a person who said, "Oh my God, I want that this person love me. I want that you give me more attention. I want that you call me the whole time. Why you don't message me?" It's just because the person is so unsure with herself because she thinks maybe there's someone outside who's better than me. That's just because the person is not sure about their own self-worth. The connection is not there.
Wow. So insecurity in a relationship is a projection. Because you know what's crazy? I learned something recently about myself. I'm a needy person in a relationship.
I was that too.
I'm very needy, and I'm beginning to realize that it's not something that, because I used to think, oh, I'm needy because I really like this person that I'm with. That's not why. I'm needy because I don't have the self-acceptance that I need to get.
Yeah, of
I
course.
and I think I'm seeing it much more now because I'm with a person that's very loving, that treats me really well, and I'm very needy, and I'm like, oh, you gotta call me every 5 minutes, and you gotta reassure me every 5 minutes, and I've never been that way, but it's because I was not aware that I deserved to be happy. I was
Hmm.
aware of that. I thought that I
That's a
deserved
good point. Yeah.
what I got. And I thought what I got was what I deserved. And I think you have to understand that no matter what has happened to you in your life or what mistakes you've made or bad decisions you made, you deserve to be happy. You're capable of being happy, and you have to let yourself be happy. I'm a self sabotager. I'll be happy and everything will be going great, and I'll do something to mess it up because I'm so used to things not being perfect. I'll go
Or
and
you
make.
think you're not worth it to having a perfect life.
Well, right. When if things are going really well and you feel like you're being loved and treated well, and it almost seems like you have imposter syndrome, like this is not your life because you don't deserve a perfect life, and
Yeah,
you have
right.
to understand that everybody deserves to have the life that they dream of, and you may have gone through a bad relationship or multiple bad relationships in the past, and it doesn't mean that it has made you any less desirable or capable or deserving of the
Hmm.
person I have. Because sometimes I'll go through the thing where I don't deserve someone this good, right? I'll go through that. I'm like,
Yeah.
what deserve someone this good? You know how people will ask, what would I do to deserve someone this bad? I go in the opposite direction and I'm like, they're way too good for me. What did I do
Mhm.
for this?
That's because sometimes, or not sometimes, I think 99% people have childhood traumas. They learn from a mother or they learn from a father, you have to earn the love I will give you. You have to earn something what I want to give you, or you don't get this car, you have to earn it. And so people learn to earn for that what they want, to love, to, I don't know, that people take care or give attention to them. And a lot of people think, okay, I'm not worth it because I learned when I was a child, I have to earn it before I get it.
See, this is interesting because when I was a child, love was always conditional.
Uh-huh.
My parents loved me as long as I made good grades, as long as I
Mm-hmm.
could do, as long as I didn't get in trouble, if I went to church. It was always conditional. Like, we are
Mm-hmm.
love you if you do this list of things. And I think we're trained to believe, as especially when you experience that as a child, that love is always conditional. If someone loves you, it means they could stop loving you if you don't do something
Yeah.
to do
If
it.
you're not perfect anymore.
Right. And I think as adults, we have to understand that love is never supposed to be a conditional thing. If someone loves you genuinely with all their heart, regardless of what you do, or if you wake up one day and make a mistake, they're not
Mm-hmm.
stop loving you because of that. Because I learned the statement where I cannot like what you did, but I can still love you. And I learned that as an adult, I can dislike something that someone did, their actions, a decision that they made, how they treated me, what they did to me. I can dislike it with all my heart, but I can still love them with all my heart. And I think a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people don't realize that you can do both. It's like an oxymoron because you can hate what someone did, but love that person. And I think that you have to understand maturity and adulthood to know that that's possible. Because as an adult, I learned that I was like, I hate the way some people behave, but I still love them as a person, and I'm not going to cut them out of my life. I just don't like the way that they
Yeah.
live. And I
And
think
your
that
nervous system and your inner child saved everything up, every memory, the way people treat you. So yeah, and sometimes people think, oh my God, I have to do a lot. I have to give gifts all the time. I have to give my car, all my money, that this person gets me some love. But you don't get love, just you give all that stuff. That means you're in a needy energy. So that's really unhealthy. Work on yourself and say, hey, no matter how my parents treat me as a child, I treat myself right. And I'm a lovely, perfect person.
I'm really trying to work on it. I am so needy and I'm a clingy person. And I didn't know that I was like that. But when you find someone that you really love, it's always in the back of my mind that they're going to leave me. Because when you have that abandonment, those abandonment issues, you just know, oh, well, I like this person a lot. So there's going to be a point in time where they leave. Because that's how things were when that trauma when you were younger or a past relationship, wherever you got your abandonment issues from, because I have those, it
Mhm.
always is in the back of your mind. You're like, as long as things are going right, there's a voice in the back of your head saying, they're going to leave you at some point and you have
Right.
to. And it's not true. And it's what I call that self-sabotage,
Mm.
where you're
Yeah.
living in your head and not in the moment. You're
Mhm.
not in your relationship, you're in your head. Your relationship is being controlled by a voice in the back of your head telling you that something is going to go wrong. And in actuality, it may not go wrong, but you may self sabotage it to the
Mm.
does go wrong because you're living in your head and not in the moment. And I'm really,
Yeah.
really working on that. And I know that, getting to know yourself spiritually is definitely a way to get to the bottom of those
Mhm.
deeply rooted issues,
Yeah.
right? The issues that live in here, you have to get to know yourself. Like I said, listen to your voice in your head, listen to that inner dialogue. It's trying to help you. 90% of the time when you hear that inner dialogue, it's crying out for help. You're doing something that it doesn't agree with. That's usually why it's talking to you. But a lot of people um, want to drown it out because they're like, oh, well, you're not supposed to have voices in your head. You're absolutely supposed to have an inner dialogue. Your mind is the central nervous system control of your body, and it's going to talk to you in many, many different ways. And we just have to learn to be receptive and to listen, because if the worst thing you can do is ignore your body, and that's mentally,
Mhm.
emotionally. If you ignore
Yeah.
what you will you'll leave this world at some point. Your body is going to tell you what you need to live, what you need to be happy, what you need to be sad. It's going to give you all of the tools to find happiness. But if you're not listening, it doesn't matter. It's like having the answer key to a test. So you have all the answers, but you don't use it and you still fail the test, right? It's useless if you don't use it.
And that's why I'm saying before you go in on a relationship and you have all these issues, or you saying, "Oh my God, I'm so needy," just work first on yourself, because it could happen everything, like the person go on a walk and never come back, or going to die. I don't know. So you could never have this feeling in myself like, oh my God, I cannot be alone because I was so safe and now I'm not. So you should have the feeling no matter what happened, I still have myself. And I think that's the healthiest way to have a relationship with you, and not to say, okay, now I'm in a relationship and everything is fine, I feel safe. But imagine what could happen with you when this person will leave you. You
That's
feel unsafe again, right?
that's interesting because at the end of the day, we are our own prize. We are the gift because we'll never leave ourselves. We'll never give up on ourselves. But I think we put all of our eggs in the basket of I'm going to be with this one person, and this one person is going to make me happy, and they're going to make me feel fulfilled, and they're going to be everything that I need. But like you said, that's unhealthy because the odds of you staying with that person for the rest of your life, unfortunately, are slim. So if
Right.
your happiness is based only on whether or not this person stays with you for the rest of your life, you're gambling with your happiness. So what you said was so true. You have to know that at the end of the day, the person that loves you the most is you.
Yeah.
No one is ever going to love you more than you. And if loving yourself is enough and you can be happy just being yourself and being happy with yourself, finding love is just an added bonus. It's not
Hmm.
an I think a lot of people think since in the Bible there was Adam and Eve and it was a man and a woman, there need to be two people in
Yeah.
order to be happy. And I don't think that that's true. I think that there are people who lived a perfectly happy life and remained single. They didn't need another person to control whether or not they could be happy or whether or not they had permission to be happy. And I think we're positioned to believe, especially women, for some reason people are saying if a woman is in her 30s or mid 30s and she's not married, people will actually start asking, why aren't you married? Don't you want to be happy? Don't you want a family? And I think that
Yeah.
that's very damaging to a woman to say things like that, to
Hmm.
make like she's not official or fulfilled until there's a man standing next to her. I think that's a really negative thing because like you said, your real happiness comes from within. And if you
Right.
can be and learn to love yourself, you don't really need another person. You might want someone, but needing and wanting are two different things.
Right. And you have to realize you came into this world by your own and you will go by your own. So you will leave this world by your own. Yeah. And not with another person. Maybe you meet someone in heaven, but you will go this way alone first.
Yeah, yeah, I always say that, and then I also add, I say you enter the world alone, you leave the world alone, and I say you go to Judgment Day alone. So when you get to
Yeah.
the you don't because I just said this the other day. I was like, you don't get to bring a team of people to be your character witnesses when you get to Judgment Day. When you face God and He asks you these questions, and whether or not you get into heaven or not is based on your answers, you don't get to call witnesses to the stand to talk in your behalf. It's only you. So it's all up to you. And I think that's the same on this earth. Whether you want to be happy, whether you want to be sad, what your goals are, it's all up to you. Because I think a lot of times we focus a lot on blaming other people. We'll say, oh, well, I could have done this if this person wouldn't have left me, or I could have done this if this person would have believed in me, or I could have done this if this person would have given me more support. We got to stop doing that. We are in control of our own destiny. And, if you had a spouse that was unsupportive of your goals, it doesn't necessarily mean that spouse is the reason why you never achieved that goal. It just
Mm.
means that you allowed that person to be the reason. They
Yeah.
didn't become the reason. You allowed them to become the reason. We're the only ones in control of our destiny. And if we want to do something, we can do it. If you're in a relationship and your husband doesn't want you to go back to college, then you might not need to be in that relationship. If your goal is to get your education, then that's where your happiness lies. And
Hmm.
compromise between love and happiness. I think a lot of people do that a lot. Like some people want children, some people don't, and they compromise between happiness and love. Those two things need to be intertwined, or it's not going to work.
Right. Yeah.
Well, this was fun. This was fun. So I definitely wanted to talk more about the energy exchange that we have been discussing. We actually been discussing this for a long time, and I was really taken back by it when you were saying how the energy that you take on in new relationships can stay with you forever, and it can impact your happiness, your goals, your accomplishments, the way your mind works. This was really intriguing to me because when people are entering the dating world, there's already a lot of risk, there's a lot of responsibilities, there's a lot of things that they are focusing on, and I think the main thing that they ignore are the energy transfers, because you think, oh, we have a good intimate connection, and you may, but you don't know what that person is transferring to you. It's kind of like when you go to a party. Remember, well, I don't know if they did this in Germany, but in America when we were younger, there wasn't a cure for the flu or
Hmm.
pox. So our parents would find out when one kid had the flu or the chicken pox, and they would have a sleepover, and they would send all of the kids there, because once you get it once, your immune system, especially for chickenpox, will build up to where you wouldn't get it again. But
Hmm.
until you get it, and you need to get it at a young age to build up your immunity. So our parents would find out which kid had chickenpox or whatever, and then they would have a big sleepover, so we would all get it. I don't know if they did that there, but that was kind of,
No, I never did that before.
yeah, that's something that they do here in the US. I don't know if they still do it, but this was like when I was growing up. And then my mom told me later in life, she was like, yeah, the reason why, because I was like, remember that time I went there and I got sick? She's like, yeah, we knew you were going to get the chicken pox. The whole point was for you to get it at a young age so you would build an immunity for it. And I think that that's kind of like what we were talking about now. Like you got to get these things out in the open. You have to learn how to love yourself, connect with yourself spiritually. So the idea of people thinking the inner dialogue is making you sick, it's actually something that's going to make you healthy. And especially if you listen to it, you pay attention to it, you pay attention to your body, and your energy. And oh, and you taught us tonight, when you go out with someone new, and if you come home and you feel overly tired, drained, or exhausted, or weak, that's a sign of that person stealing your energy. And the longer you stay with that person, the longer they will take your energy and they will bleed you dry. So these,
I always say if you're having sex with someone or you stay for a long while with someone, it's like you're having a cold. The other person gets that cold too, right? And it's like the same with energies. Everything what you have inside you, you have always an energy cord to everyone you meet. You're going on a bus, you're going on a supermarket, and you talk with someone or you stand behind someone. You have an energy cord because everything is energy. And if you stay with someone, you get like the twin from that other person. Do you know, sometimes when someone gets in a relationship with someone and they don't like some stuff, but after a while they like that stuff because all the character, all that main character is going to the other person too. Like they become like the person they're staying with.
oh, I understand. So if you were with someone for a long time and you think that you dislike a certain activity or a certain type of movie or a certain type of food, and then you break up with that person and you find yourself enjoying the things that you thought you did not like, it's
Yeah, because you're
completely.
getting the twin from the person you stay with because every energy is mixed.
Wow, that's so crazy. It's a crazy thought, but it's important that people are aware the risks that they're taking, especially when they're dating and they're being intimate with new people. And I want to talk a little bit more. So Juliana has a website that you guys can go to where you can purchase these products, where you can cleanse yourself of bad energy and bad auras and spirits. I think it's important that people know what the products are, how they can get them. What's your website? Where can people go?
You can go on my bio on Instagram and there's my website and they can see all my products, what all my gifts are and my whole life history, my spiritual life history. Yeah.
Oh
So
yeah,
thank you
people.
for joining.
Yeah, everybody, thanks for joining. And also, if you're moving into a new house, I know there's this website people use called diedinhouse.com. Juliana can help you cleansing your home too, because when you're moving into a new space, it's very important that you cleanse any negative energy or spirits or auras that were living there, because you never know what you get in a new space. You never know the type of people that were there before you. So,
You don't know
Julia,
the story, what's happened there, or a murder case. You don't know what's going on there, and you take that all in your system.
well, right, and
The
then
same with that sex energy connection. So when
right,
you going in a
right.
new home, and all the because there's now your energy, it's your home, and so you take all that energy in your system from all the people what lives before you meet this home or buy this home. I don't know. Yeah.
Your products can help with that, right? You can help do a cleanse on the home.
Yeah, from energy cords, from memories, from old energies, when someone passing away and the soul is still stuck in there, I can bring the soul to heaven. Right. Oh, we have so much questions, I think. I don't know, but I see now we have a lot of followers who asked something, right? Kind of
Yeah,
when old
comments. I
couples
try.
start to look alike. Yeah, true. And I thought about something when some people, the longer people stay with each other, sometimes people die like in the same time or just weeks or months later because the energy is so connected with that the other part of that relationship, the other person, have no life energy anymore to stay without this person anymore. That's so crazy.
That's actually a thing in the US. We call it when the person died of a broken heart.
Hmm.
So when the husband or wife passes away first, the other person dies within a year or so. They
I
pass.
think it's because of energy, because you have the energy from the other person in your system, and the other person have the energy in his system. So I think, or in their systems. So I think if you live with each other, with your energies with each other, so when one part is going or it's going to be to die, there's no energy to live anymore. So that's just a spiritual thing for me. But I saw it because my grandparents were so long in a relationship with each other. My grandpa passed away last May, and my grandpa passed away this January, so just 9 months. And I think, and I felt when my grandma passed, it was like his whole energy is getting more and more away because he had not her energy anymore to live again. That was so interesting
Oh,
for me
that's
to
so
see.
sad. It's I don't like that because it's I feel like just because your spouse leaves, it doesn't mean you should leave too. But I know that when you're together with someone for so long, like you said, you start sharing energy.
Yeah,
And
right. This is what I mean. You're sharing energy with each other.
yeah, so it's sad to hear that someone, when they lose that person, that they don't have the energy level to stay here longer. It's
Right. This is what I want to say. Right.
I hate that. It's so sad because I mean, a lot of people might love it because they'll say, "Oh, well, they're gonna both be together," so they weren't separated for long. But at the end of the day, sometimes people pass away early in life, and it's sad that their love of their life might not get a full life, because they don't have the energy to stay without that person. Because we do feed off of each other. Like when you're in a relationship, the
Mm.
energy is shared. There's the energy is transferred and it's used together. So the idea of like that person leaving the world and then you don't even have the energy to stay, it's kind of scary because we don't know when we're going to pass away, and we don't know if it's going to be 5 years apart, 10 years apart, a year apart. We don't know that. So the idea that that affects your life expectancy is kind of crazy.
And you know what's crazy? When my parents passed away, I felt it in my whole body. Like I knew the day last Tuesday, and I said to my mom, I feel like I'm dying. Like I feel that all his energy cords, because I had a really strong connection to my grandfather, and I feel that all these energy cords are gone because his body is going to die. And I said to my mom, I feel he wants to die this day because I feel like I'm dying because all the energy what I have from my grandfather since like I was a child, all that energy is like gone. I was laying on my couch and I thought, oh my God, I have the feeling I'm dying, but I knew that my grandpa is going to die. And I was going to my mom and I said, I will sleep by my grandpa. And I took his hand because I knew in a few minutes he will die because I feel that I have less energy. And I felt now he's going to be to die. And he's died like an hour later.
Wow. So you could feel the lack of energy.
Yeah, I feel it the same with my grandma. I have such a bad heart beating, and I feel someone mm, took all my heart energy away. Like it was like someone hit me. I cannot explain it. It was really confused for me, but I felt okay, my grandma is going to die because I have this heart pain and I was thinking about her, and I felt that this connection is going away from my body. I felt all the connection, all my chakras where they was, all the energy cords, what I got with my grandparents.
Wow. So sorry for your loss with
Yeah,
your
but I
grandmother.
know they with each other and they happy, I think. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's what I feel like is the silver lining when they won't have to be separated anymore and they get to reunite. I think that's the beautiful part of it, but it's still difficult. We're never gonna be able to accept death. Death is the only thing that I think as humans, it's the most unhuman
Mhm.
aspect of our life. Like we can
Yeah.
understand illness, we can understand sickness, we can understand love, we can understand breakups. Death is like the only thing that we've never fully understood or grasped. Like we
Mm.
don't know how to cope with it, and no matter how many centuries it's been around, we still don't know how to handle death. It's just the one thing that we can't master.
You know what was also interesting? I think for all the followers, it's so interesting. I was going to my mom when I felt that my grandpa is now it's the time that he will going to die. And I was going to his bed and took his hand, and I felt that his soul was already out of his body. I felt that he was like behind me, and I was running to my mom and said, "Hey, his body is behind me, but he's still breathing." And it took, I think, 5 minutes and then he passed. But it was so a new spiritual experience for me to know sometimes the body is still working and still breathing and the heart beating is still there, but the person is already gone. That was really interesting to see. My grandfather was staying there on his own bed, but he was still breathing.
Wow, that is insane. Well, I heard people say that when someone passes away, there's still a moment in time where their body is still functioning. I don't
Right.
remember what they said, but they said like when the body or soul passes, there's like a moment in time where the body they still coherent, they still know what's going on, but the body is legally dead. And I think that it has to do with their spirit and their soul because the
Mhm.
soul and the separate
Yeah.
things. And I think that the body can exist without the soul, right? I think the body can exist without the soul. But it's just a vessel. You can't, it doesn't go the other way around. So it's just, the whole thing is really interesting. It's really hard to understand if you're not spiritual, if you don't really understand the spiritual realm.
Mhm. Yeah.
Well, I think we run out of time, right? I think, yeah, it's time for us to end. I think you have. I don't know if you guys know, it's very late. In where Juliana is. So when we do these lives, it's a little early for me, but it's kind of late in her
It's
neck of the
okay. I
woods.
just have 5 minutes. If you want just to talk about something, I'm still here.
Oh
Just
no,
have to.
I think we covered everything unless there's
Okay.
something we wanted to cover. I feel like this was a fun conversation. It's very intriguing. I feel like it got a little complex. I hope we were able to explain everything to everyone in a way that they could understand. Because like I said, it's a very complex subject. A lot of times people are not fully open to the spiritual realm, so sometimes they don't fully understand it. So I try to explain it in the best way I know how. I try to use metaphors. I try to make sure that people understand that it's more simple than you believe it could be when you compare it to regular everyday things that we already accept, right? Like, because I call a relationship a journey. I always say it's a road trip.
Mhm.
When you compare it to something that we've already understood and mastered, it's a lot easier for you to fathom.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining. This is Giuliana Fischer. Make sure you go and check her bio where all of her products are. You can book personal sessions with her, as well as purchase her products for cleansing. And this cleansing can be used for. Are you going to do a past podcast to your? I'm sorry. Are you going to post this? Yes, Giuliana is going to save this live and she's going to do a collaboration. So you can go back and rewatch this on either my Instagram or Giuliana's Instagram. Thank you for that. And yeah, make sure you check out her products, the cleansing products, as well as products that you can use to clean your home, as well as clean energies as well. Thank you so much, Giuliana. I'm
Thank you
George.
for having me, George.
Of course, I love having you on. I have such an amazing response when I have you on. I'm George Mossey. This is the George Mossey Show. Thank you for Giuliana Fischer. And you guys have a wonderful night and evening. And don't worry, we'll be doing these regularly. I know I keep saying that and then things keep happening, but we are going to continue and do these regularly.
Thank you, guys. Good night. Thank you, guys. Good night. Good night
Bye.
in my time. Bye.